Hey everybody, and welcome back. My name is Sue and I'm from OML Embroidery, and over there at the computer is Dawn.
Hello.
Hello. So Dawn and I are a little under the weather today, so if you don't hear that usual spark in my voice, that's why. We're kinda what would you call it? Blah?
Just blind.
Just blah. So anyways, we're good. Everything's
We're running
fine.
at 75%.
No,
50.
25.
Oh, okay.
Me personally, I just had a nap, so I'm feeling better. All right, today we are going to work on placement. Now, the difference between this one and the first video we did is this one is low-tech placement. So this is old school. If you don't have any bells and whistles on your embroidery machine, which doesn't mean anything at all, you can do anything that you want on your embroidery machine. You just have to learn how to do it. So this is low tech, nothing. So printer, this is how we used to do it. And I do have some videos showing you in real time how I figure out placement and everything on a couple of sweatshirts. And I think there's a blog post. So we're going to ignore the snowman because that would be tech. The snowman would scan and it would do all the placement. We're doing all this today. So ignoring that, the middle is where this dot is, and we have the lines. Now those lines line up with the lines on your hoop. Can you see them? There's always 4 of them. So that lines up, but I want to show you something else really cool. My machine here doesn't have any hoop grids, so I had to borrow one from Ragnar. And these are little plastic grids, and they are the most useful thing ever. You probably get a little shine off of these. So what do these do? Well, okay. They hook around, or they sit on these ones are arrows, not lines. So these lines, and this part here, the outside of the grid, is your sewing area. You can't stitch outside of it. So that helps a lot with placement. And the circles here are holes. So that makes it really easy. So the idea of it, say we get something placed and we're hooping it, look how I can perfectly line it up. And when you hoop it and it's lined up perfectly like this with the grid, you can just pop the grid off and take it to your machine. And it'll be perfectly in the center. So these things are really worth it. Now we're going to go ahead and do that in just a minute. We're going to do a pretend hooping, maybe a pretend hooping. Hi everyone out there, by the way. I forgot to say hi. See, I'm not quite myself. But that's okay. So, okay, and welcome all new people, and thank you mods. There we go. All that stuff out of the way. So if I am placing this just like this. Now you can place it where you want. If you're going to turn it, maybe you find it a little easier looking at it this way. I cut it to the outside of the template, so it really helps doing it that way, especially if you're doing more than one. Say this was a different design and you wanted to do extended, endless embroidery, keep it going. It helps to cut the template that way. So hopefully, is anyone confused? Let me know. Hopefully no one is. Hello. Anyone confused? Just let us know and I can go over anything that you want. So my template, I'm going to turn it back because I like to do everything straight. Okay, so I'm going to set it up. I'm just going to do it a little bit differently so we can see how to do it. Now, this is exactly where I want it. It's not necessarily a napkin. It's just something. You could do right on the edge, too. if you get really good at this, you could put this, say it was like a towel with a cute little face right on the edge. It's precision placement, believe it or not. So I'm just going to put it here, and I'm just going to make some marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm just going to kind of poke through the middle one, and there we go. So that is exactly where I want to place it. Now you can do it like this because we know we have to line the needle up with the circle, but if you want a little more, just when you're getting started, you can take your ruler. Now this is wash off marker. This is just from my Cricut machine. It's the only one I have.
It says crystal clear explanation.
Okay, good. Good. So if you're just starting off, this part will help just drawing it out. You certainly don't have to. So you can see my point spread there a little bit, but that's okay. So now we know exactly where we want to put it.
Template came from you printed it from the software, right?
Yep. So say we're hooping, and I'm not going to fuss about, I'm not going to put stabilizer in because it's just a pretend hooping. And the way I do it, so for this one, the bottom doesn't line up perfectly, but you should have stabilizer and everything like that. And you want to get it as close as you can. So remember, I use the 2 hooping system. So the first one I do it kind of loose and then tighten it up, and then I do the second one. So I'm going to show you that right now. So we do want this in the middle. So I have a nice clear flat space, and I just kind of sit the hoop in, and I can see that I'm off, so I can make easy adjustments. It helps if you iron it too. Easy adjustments. All right, and I'm going to set it in like that, and then I'm going to tighten up the hoop. And you can see, because I drew the lines, you can see that that one's perfectly on. This one is slightly off, but let me show you what this looks like with the grid in. So it just sits on top, and you can see, look, I'm pretty good on this. I don't know how well you guys can see that, Don.
Yeah, there's a bit of a glare with the grid in it.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys
Let me
can.
see if I can zoom in.
Okay. You can see I'm okay on this one. I'm slightly off exact middle, but that's okay. It's still straight. But you know what? This one is so far off. This is way off. So we need to do that again. So I'm going to loosen up my hoop. Loosen up my hoop just to make it easier. Take my grid off, and we're going to straighten it out because it was quite crooked. So, and you know what? You do get, I know this looks, kind of hard and fiddly, but you get really good at it. And if you have one of these hoop mats, that helps too. You can use the lines underneath to line it up. It's okay. So hopefully, I seem to hoop everything over to the left, so not always the greatest at that. So that's looking pretty good. I put my grid on it, so at least you guys are getting the idea, right? So that looks pretty straight. What do you think, Don?
Your up and down is good. Left to right is just a little high, but it looks straight.
Yeah.
Pretty straight. Anyway.
It's pretty good. So what I would do in this case, because I am placing it a little bit differently, I would put a second dot here. Remember, there's a hole, right? And you can also mark like this. This is what this is for. If that
washable fabric marker.
Yeah, there's air washable, air whatever ones. But that's what it's for. So this is where it's going to go, and then I'll show you what to do when we put it on the machine. So if you have the grids, that's what they're for. Your hoops may be a little bit different, but your grids won't be. So the grid tells you a whole lot. It also tells you if you were, planning something, planning a design out, or, whatever you're doing, if you wanted to know, is this, how is it going to fit in my hoop? And if you look, yeah, it fits, but it's right on the edge of everything. So you want to be precise about it. Actually, it doesn't quite, but anyways, okay, so I'm going to put this aside. Now, my machine didn't come with any grids, which I understand why, but I'm going to kind of miss it because I'm used to doing it. So let's get my hoop out. And this time, I'm going to put stabilizer. So one way of doing this, I'm going to put my stabilizer. Now I've got the tear away, wash away. And what I'm going to do, and I do this on hoodies and sweatshirts as well. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops. My iPad's screaming at me. I do this on hoodies and sweatshirts as well, that you can turn it inside out. You have a general idea of where you're going to place it. Before you hoop it, turn it inside out and stick the stabilizer down, turn it the right way, and then hoop it. And that way you don't have to worry about stabilizer moving. So it's really good. So I'm going to do it, say like this. I think maybe I need a new marker. So I'm just going to stick it down, and then look how easy it all goes together. So it's so much easier to hoop. So let's do this again. Maybe I will grab another pen. So let's, because we're doing this old school. We're rocking it old school. I have a chalk one, and I have another one. So just hold on. So these ones are really handy. You can see I use marking stuff all the time. I don't have grids, but I do have a camera. It's good to see another way to line things up. Yeah, this is old school. I mean, you can still do most of this, even if you put on a snowman sticker. But this is chalk, and you can change the color of chalk. It's completely reusable. And it's fantastic. So we're going to start from the beginning, and we're going to use a different marking pen. I prefer this one, for sure.
Stabilizer?
Tear away. Yeah, it's tear away, wash away that I'm using. So we don't have any markings on here, but you know, if you're doing a t-shirt, if you're doing a sweatshirt, if you're doing precision placement down here, I mean, we could do that. Or in the corner. My problem is that it's just a scrap piece, so I'm going to kind of make a mess of it, but you know, that's okay. So if you want it in the corner, we're going to do the same thing. If you want it like this, there you go. And the beauty part is, look, it's chalk, so you just, if you're off, there you go. So let's do it so it's, should we do it so it's straight? Yeah. Like this. So this is exactly where I want it. I'm doing a tea towel, we're pretending, and I want it right in the middle. You can measure stuff if you want. It's easy enough to do. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here. And then one in the middle. Once you get good at it, you know, you can figure out the middle. Or leave it, because we're going to connect your lines. So there we go, again with the ruler. And like I said, if you have the hooping mat underneath, you can make sure your ruler is straight on that. It's helpful. There we go. So one.
If you're a bit off on your hooping, can you use the machine to manipulate the design a little bit to fix it?
Yeah, I'll show you guys that. Old school. All right, so now we know right there is our center. So all we have to do is do the two-step hooping, which is easy because I've attached my stabilizer to the back, and that works. So now we need to make it line up, but with the lines, with the drawing of the lines, it sure makes it a whole lot easier. So see what I'm doing, and I'm going to loosen this up a little bit more. What we want is just the hoop to kind of fall into the bottom part, and then we know. So take your time. I mean, I'm a little bit out of practice because I've been using my tech, but I'm not going to spend all day. Take your time. It's kind of like trimming, you know, basically.
It's practice.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, how hard is this to do? Line up something. You get an eye for it, and you can tell if anything's gonna be straight. See, now when I hooped it down, I didn't have it loose enough, so it shifted everything. So I want it loose enough so I can do my hooping. See, that's still pretty tight. Loosening it off. All right, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. So line it up, line it up, line it up. And I've pushed the hoop down a little bit. We almost need a drum roll for this. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I wouldn't call that a problem at all. And I'm going to tighten it right up because we don't want it to move. Now, because there's a little gap here at the bottom, I would put another piece of stabilizer and then hoop it again. I'm not going to do that, but because I'm going to move everything. So now I've got it tight, and look, it's not going anywhere. If you don't have stretchy fabric, at this point, you can make some adjustments, and you can pull everything. Like this is just like a hair off. Whoa! But then you tear your tearaway. So, all right, I'm going to change this, because you don't want your machine to get stuck on this part. So you should have another piece of stabilizer underneath it. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to line it up like this, and then that gives us a chance to play around with how we're doing it. There we go. Okay. So when you have, I'm just tightening it up, and I just filled in the void there. So this probably won't fit where I've hooped it, but I mean, that's okay. Maybe I'll pick something else and just stitch it right there. I'll see though, but if I had my grid, I could put my grid over it and I would know if I did it right. So I can see too that we're pretty straight, and again, I can make the adjustments. There we are. So, are there any questions before we take it to the machine? Are there any questions from anyone? You guys can do this. Just match everything up. If there's a gap at the bottom, then put another piece of stabilizer and hoop it again. So,
Good so far.
if you're off a bit on hooping, can you use the grid to correct it on your machine? Yeah, if you're clever enough to figure that out. Absolutely. That's where the idea of the snowman stickers came about. So if you're using a snowman sticker, which is tech, you place it where you want. Say this is a sleeve of a t-shirt, and you put your sticker down, and the machine, then you hoop it, and even if you're crooked, the machine is gonna align it for you. So
rotate your design.
yeah, for sure it will.
But you can do it manually without the sticker.
You can, absolutely. So I'm just going to, just because we're doing all this pretending, I just want to show you guys how all of this is done. So now I've got it in the center. So one center, two centers, and I'm going to show you how to get there. So Dawn, can we go to the machine, please?
Machine's up.
Okay, so we take it to the machine. I gotta move some more stuff. Now I have a little project bin where I put all of my templates so I know where to find them. So this is a different design I have up, but I wanted to show you guys how you would do this. So let's put the hoop in properly. Oh, okay, it's not even gonna play nice. Okay, hold on. I was hoping it would play nice, but that's okay. How about we go into... Yes, it's okay. Stop asking me. It's asking me too many questions, Dawn. There's a cute
Sorry.
little... I mean, I don't know how big this is. 2 by 5. It should fit nicely. This one's smaller.
So
No. What?
can you just shrink down your other one? Because it's not that far off.
I just want to do something easy. Yeah, there we go. This is how precise you can be. So I've got a little itty bitty design, which of course you'd use a 4x4 hoop for. And let's put it in. We're in embroidery mode. Let's put it in. And I can see, looking, that we're off. So we want to go to, not layout. We got to go to edit. And what we're doing is we're moving the design. So we're moving it so it's right under the needle. So that should be good. There's so many ways of doing it. What you can do too is that you can rotate the flywheel, and look what you can do. Put your needle down. That is absolutely helpful as well. I know I bumped the camera. It was really hard to reach.
It's okay still.
It's still okay.
I'll fix it later. It's fine.
Oh, okay. As long as you can still see the eyes. You can also trace and... Oh, when the needle's down. All right, well, we'll put you back up. Go up. There we go. But you can see if that was in the middle, you can see exactly where it is. And this is when stickers like this come in handy. These are from Dime. And they have, it's just a circle, and they have your 2 cross hairs on it. So if you were sticking it, you would stick it right here so it matched up right in the middle of your lines. So many ways of doing the same thing. It's really, you know, it's a skill, I guess, is how I want to say it. Now, I do want to show you guys, because I have the high tech, I just want to show you what high-tech needle placement looks like. So we're going to lower it, and we're going to do the camera, and this is a needle cam. So on this one, isn't that cool? What do you think?
Well,
So
now it's perfect.
the green crosshair is where we want to be. Isn't that neat?
Yep.
So you can, even if you're doing it half old school, half, you know, whatever, you could still line it up absolutely perfectly. And
you can do that without the camera. You're just going to eyeball right at the needle.
yeah, and put the needle down like I showed you. So the same thing for go. Usually if you hold it, it goes a bit. Oh, see, now it went too fast.
It goes crazy when you hold it.
Yeah, I know. Takes a minute for it to rescan. But this is basically, if you don't have this technology, you're just doing this by eye. You're looking, put your foot down, you're looking where the needle is. If that's difficult, then use your flywheel and put the needle down and get it right smack in the center. So
you also have the angle adjustments so that if
Yep.
you're crooked, you can straighten it up so it'll be straight on your material.
Yep, and I could actually do that. So let's do that. Good point. So I'm changing the angle of it, and if I was off, I'm only doing it by 1 degree, but let's do it by more than that. 24 degrees. Let's not do that. Reset. So you can do the placement just dandy. So you can see it's easy to line up. Again, if I did not have that camera, you just eyeball it. So you can see that it's lined up. And look what you can do. Turn the flywheel right there. Can you guys see that? Can you do the zoom, Don? I want you guys to see how that looks. It's gone. Okay. So right in the middle. You can see it. I just turn the flywheel, my needle comes down. That is the very best way of doing it. Super handy. I really like technology. Yeah, I guess you guys can see it. I really like the technology because I think the needle cam is absolutely fantastic. So you can place any design anywhere with any machine. Just if your machine has some bells and whistles, I mean, use them. If you ever wonder what the needle cam's for, now you know. So then we can just go ahead and stitch out our Mickey Mouse because we know Mickey's gonna be exactly where I want. And remember, my machine is a Disney machine, so that's why I can stitch out Mickey Mouse. Kind of fun to see what's on it. Baby Lock is made by Brothers, so they are essentially the same. They're pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. But see, it's not that hard. It really didn't take me that long to do it. And you can precision, can you imagine this on a cuff of a shirt or a collar, a shirt collar? Yes, you can do it for sure. Mark where you want to put it, line it up, hoop it up. There you go. Thank you, Dawn. I had no idea. No. Baby Lock is made. Oh, that's you who said that. I didn't realize that. Yes, they are pretty close. Whatever I'm doing on a Brother, you can also do on a Baby Lock. So, but it doesn't matter what machine you have. You can, as long as it fits into your hoop, you can precision place anything. So, what's that?
With a ruler and a pen.
That's all you need if you don't have stickers. Look, I did mine without stickers. Oh, it's going to stitch out Disney because it's a licensed thing. You should stitch it, so I'll let it go. You know. So, hopefully, you guys can get precision placing. We're going to come up with some designs. I don't know if you guys saw, but on omlembroidery.com, we have, I put up a little corner, napkin corner design. So if you don't have one in a corner shape, you can play with it. So how perfect is that? Can we go back to the desk, Dawn? So how perfect is that? Now I didn't stitch it in the absolute center of the hoop, but I did it on where I want it to go in this center. Now it looks like it might be a bit off, but the center of the design is here by his arm. So that's a cute little Mickey too, isn't it?
Yep. And that's really good placement.
Yeah, it's perfect placement. It's precisely where I wanted. And you know what? If you want to practice this, you can just use a scrap piece. Make sure you have stabilizer and practice lining it up. Just draw yourself a grid, or you could use stripes or plaid to help you line up with these marks. Go ahead and use a grid if you have it. If not, then you eyeball it, put your needle down. So really, do you need a Luminaire too? No, you can do anything that I can. I just prefer the tech because it's cool. It's really cool.
It does make it easier.
It does make it easier. That's what all the bells and whistles.
But with practice, you can do just as good as somebody that has the high-tech camera.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. They just do it differently. That's all. So, your machine, no matter what it is, no matter how old it is, your needle goes up and down the same way that mine does. So always think of that. Don't say, oh, I only have this and that. No, you have an embroidery machine and you can do this for sure. What's that, Don?
If you wanted Mickey turned, would you turn it in the software or hoop it?
Well, it would really depend on what it is that you're hooping. So if it was a napkin, I tend to, it just depends on how good your view is. I tend to like things straight up and down. So if I wanted to put Mickey on a corner, I would have Mickey, just because of the way I see things, I would do it this way with stabilizer, of course, and say I wanted Mickey there, I would draw my lines there. So it's straight up. It just helps me see it properly.
But somebody else
Yeah.
could hoop it straight on and then just rotate the
Yep.
design on the machine 45
Yep.
degrees and then
If you find it easier to do it that way, absolutely. But see, for me,
I like to hoop it too.
yeah, I don't know, so many years of it. For me, I find getting this in the middle, much easier hooping it straight on because I've got easy landmarks to do. So yeah, if I would put stabilizer for sure, and you could even draw a line in chalk from the point to make sure it lines up to the bottom one, and then you can see if you get this straight, it's probably not cut straight, but see how I'm lining up here to here, and then this naturally falls in, so I know this is straight. Again, put stabilizer, please. You never ever want to stitch like this because you'll make a mess. So it has to be stabilizer. Even though I've got this, sprayed to stick, you can see it doesn't stick all the way. Put another piece of stabilizer down just so you have something, to work with. And that's how I would do it if I wanted, Mickey right here, say, and he's turned at a different angle. That's how I would do it. But that's me. If your brain can, coordinate all that, there you go. Do it that way. You can turn it, hoop it however you want and turn it. Just make sure you use the right stabilizer. And I'm going to point out to you guys, if you don't have this, this is the handiest darn thing ever. It is from Dime, and it's called the Embroiderer's Compass, because using the right stabilizer is very important. So let's see. Does anyone know, if you're doing embroidery on gauze, what you need? Stabilizer is one layer of tear and wash away adhesive, sew and wash as backing beneath the fabric. And it tells you what needles are recommended, the whole bit. And then they give you comments. When open areas, allow opaque stabilizer to show through, hoop with sew and wash beneath, water-soluble topping on top. So it tells you everything you need to know. It is the handiest reference. There's two sides of them, so I'm looking here. Lace and freestanding embroidery, satin, polyester, accents, terry cloth. See, I know the basics, but like denim and stuff like that, caps, I know all those because I do it. But for the rest of it, like, do you know? Don came up and asked me, it was weird. You asked me. I don't remember what it was either. But he's like, what stabilizer do I use for that? Maybe it was velvet? And I'm like, well, I don't know. So there we go. Peel and stick with water-soluble topping.
Even stretchy fabric?
I
don't know.
No, I know what stretchy fabric.
I don't remember.
Moisture wicking technical fabric. Stable support or stretchy knit stabilizer. Polypro Performance 7511. Extra slim ballpoint universal. So yeah, isn't that cool? So stabilizer, make your lines, put your position. You can use stickers if you want, but templates are a must. And like I said, I'll be putting all these in my template drawer. And if I do this design again, because chances are if you get really good placement and you give it as a gift, someone says, oh, I want that for next year, keep your templates for that. Just a frugal thing that I do. I'm organized. And happy stitching. So if you have questions on this, you can let me know in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group. If I went too fast, which I hope I didn't, I hope I went over it enough times for everyone, then, oh, Cindy says, love my compass. Yeah, I know. That is awesome. It's an embroidery.
Dime, right?
Yeah, embroiderer's compass. I actually had one at the beginning. I've been with Eileen Roche since she started because it was almost exactly the same time as I started. So I had to learn all that. So it's just handy gadgets, but you can do it with nothing if that's what you want. I did it for years with nothing, just a template and a chalk pen and the grid, and that's it. Doesn't matter what machine. It also works if you have multi-needle machine. It's the same thing. You just got to make sure the needle, 1 or 10, whichever one you're using, starts off right in the middle that you mark. So right in the middle, like right here. This is the goal. Perfect. So as long as your needle goes there, perfect precision placement. So I hope you guys will practice a little bit. Precision placement, corner placement. Not many people can master that and get it straight. So easy to have it, off a little bit like that. And we're going to do more challenges, right, Don? We're feeling challenging. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you give it a try. Practice your embroidery skills because they are very important. And we'll keep working on them. We're going to have tons of fun. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Bye, everyone.